vet life adventures, and let's see how we go on this adventure with you. This video is especially and particularly for those people who are in rural areas, those people who have had the ability to grow their own maize, grow their own sunflower, grow their own different things that they're intending to sell some for a purpose, whether it is to have some school fees or different things. Now, I would like to discuss to you the concept of livestock investment in context of the resources that you have now just acquired during this rain season as you're transitioning to harvest season, planting to harvest. Now, the easy example that I can give to you is an ox cart of maize. Now, the concept of an ox cart of maize has to be then translated further into how many bags will come out of an ox cart of maize. So each coach for maize and how many bags will come out of it when you shell the maize and everything else. In most cases, you usually get about 5 to 7 bags, depending of course on the size of the ox cart. All right. And most subsistence farmers in Zambia get anything between 3 ox carts to 10 of them, and anything beyond 10 starts to become a little bit of a village star in their village for harvesting a lot more maize. Now, that's besides the point. What I'm interested in is you have 2 choices when you get 1 ox cart of maize equivalent to 7 bags of maize, 50 kg bags. One choice is to get that maize and then sell it off for 120 kwacha a bag, which is normally or recently was the FRA price for a bag of maize. In which case, for calculation purposes, let's assume that translates to 100 kwacha times 8 bags, roughly. That should give you about 800 kwacha out of it, an ox cart of maize, roughly. So, if you are going to get a roughly 700 to 800 kwacha out of an ox cart of maize, that will be it if you sell it as maize. Now, let's try and translate that backwards into why we should now consider livestock investment, which is the purpose of this video, livestock investment. If you then changed your strategy and decided now to calculate how many animals can you feed that maize over 6 months. Now, for this calculation purpose, I would like you to think pigs. I would like you to think chickens. How many chickens, how many pigs? And then I would like for you to think of splitting them into 2 groups, a group of chickens and a herd of pigs, which is like a group of pigs as well, right? So if you had a small number of pigs and a small number of chickens, and you dedicated 1 ox cart of maize to feeding them, and maybe a couple of bags of sunflower, what would that look like? As opposed to a 700 kwacha, which you would get from selling it as dry maize to anyone, briefcase buyers, food reserve agency, anyone. Now, in that context, then you will start to realize that you could dedicate, for every pig that you have, you could dedicate 1.5 bags of maize. Now, if you did that, dedicate 1.5 bags of maize to a pig, or 1 bag only, it would grow from being a little tiny piglet, plus the mother is fed another bag, so you feed out of 7 bags, 2 bags to the mother, and you remain with 5 bags for 5 piglets. If you fed 1 bag per piglet over a period of 3 months, the amount of meat you would harvest out of that pig would in each case be more than 100 kwacha from the 1 bag of maize. Now that is what is called feed conversion efficiency, FCR, the ability of the pig to convert your low value maize into a high value meat product. And that's what we intend to do when we say we are investing in livestock. This video is meant to point out to you that you don't necessarily need to think of harnessing a large amount of money or a special breed of pigs in order for you to convert get profit out of your enterprise. You really need to refocus your perception and prioritize the utilization of your maize to something that will give you more profit, and that is the benefit of having livestock. So if you've been wondering why you should keep a few pigs or keep a few chickens, which chickens would do about the same thing, whether they are laying hens or they're broilers or they just village chickens running around. If you got a 50 kg bag and apportioned it throughout the 6 months towards your chickens, your 3 chickens, they would each produce up to 10 or more eggs, and that would be 30 eggs. And if they do 2 clutches of eggs and they lay up to 60 eggs, they are already buying back the bag of maize. Now, if everybody in the rural areas could just think that way and not wait for the maize to get bad and start feeding the animals rotten maize, they would realize a lot more out of the few animals that they have rather than what they have been realizing in the past. So, if you have heard me correctly, this means you have learned an easy way to make more money out of your maize. You have learned a way to look at animals as a profitable enterprise. You have also learned in the process that feeding animals is important in a very simplified way. That was my intention. Thank you very much. See you next time.